Hello again from Dunrovin Ranch in lovely Lolo, Montana. I am your ranch manager, Kelly, with our fearless leader, Suzanne Miller.
And Captain Clark.
Captain Clark and Captain Lewis, Jewel and Cola. It's a big, we're having a party.
Yeah.
It's beautiful out. It's 35 and it might as well be 80. It's just, that's a what, a 60-degree swing.
Yeah.
In a couple days.
Yeah, I'm glad to see it. I mean, I love winter, and I know winter, and I'm happy to have winter, but I have to tell you, this winter could make an exit, left stage soon.
We're going to have a lot of mud.
A lot of mud, a lot of water. This snow is starting to settle, and a lot of you may have noticed that Kelly hired a guy with a big boy toy to move some of the snow in the arena. He can barely get through it.
Yeah,
it's settling. It's getting hard.
Yeah.
And that's why we moved it the other day, because it's going to get harder and harder.
And our bucket truck is coming on the 19th.
Yeah.
Of March.
Yeah.
So we wanted to be sure the bucket truck could get in there so we could get the nest ready.
Yeah, he's really struggling.
We're watching Cola. I don't know if you can see him, but he's having a heck of a time in that snow.
Yeah.
But he could use the exercise.
Yeah, he could.
Come on, buddy.
He's become a little bit of a torpedo there with a
torpedo.
A fat torpedo.
A loud, fat, barking, biting torpedo.
Oh, come on now. This is my guy.
Well, that's not a lie. I said it with love.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of truth there for sure.
So today we're going to introduce you to, and I call them historic, because they're figures from history. Our co-captains, Lewis and Clark. We're going to show you the differences, how you can tell the differences from the cameras, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what they're good at.
Yeah. And
what we're going to be doing with them as the season. So I will let you begin. You can talk about the differences between these kids.
Well, first of all, let me tell you how they came here, because this was a complete accident that I ended up with a couple of fabulous ponies that are also draft ponies. And first of all, the way you tell them apart is Lewis has white over one of his nostrils. His white blaze goes all the way over and encompasses one of his nostrils. I think it's the right nostril, isn't it?
So a stripe on a horse's face is a blaze.
Yeah, this part.
Yes.
And Clark's is narrower, and it doesn't include one whole nostril, whereas Lewis's does. So when you look at the two of them straight on, Lewis has the wider white blaze. It goes over an eye too, I believe.
Yes, it does.
It goes over an eye and a nostril.
Yes.
Whereas Clark's doesn't go over an eye and it doesn't go over the nostril. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
They didn't come with these names. So let me tell you how we came to have these two wonderful creatures. I'm known wide and far in the valley as being something of an eccentric. So
what?
Yeah. Can you believe it?
No.
I don't know how
thinking?
did that happen? I just don't know.
Don't know.
And anyway, I get this phone call from this woman. She said, well, I've been trying to sell a carriage and two draft ponies, and everyone tells me I should talk to you because you're crazy enough to, take this on or to find somebody who will.
Okay.
Well, normally I would not have even batted an eye thinking about them because I don't know how to drive ponies or drive a team. I had never driven a team. But it just so happened that summer, this wonderful cowboy ended up having a girlfriend in the area, and he came, his name was Wayne, and he came complete with carriage and two incredibly beautiful horses called Waylon and Willie. So Waylon and Willie were spending the summer at Dunrovin, and Wayne is one heck of a teamster. I mean, this guy knows how to drive horses.
That's where the term teamster comes from, driving a team of horses or mules.
Exactly. And I have never seen a better teamster than Wayne. He builds his own carts, and he had his two horses which were kind of small. They weren't Belgians and they weren't Clydesdales. They were a cross between
maybe a Shire.
Yeah, Shires. Beautiful. And he had them, doing incredible things. And so I hired him to harrow my lawn, harrow my fields, and he brought his horses over. So when this lady called, I said, well, I've got just the guy who who can at least evaluate them for you. She says, I've never driven them. I've got the carriage and I've got the harnesses and everything, but I really don't know how well trained they are. And I said, well, let me get a hold of Wayne and I'll send him over. So Wayne goes over, and this woman lives up Highway 12, and I get this call from Wayne, and Wayne says, well, he says, you got to come over here and meet these ponies. And I said, yeah, really? He said, well, you're not going to believe these 2 ponies.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, and I thought, no, this is bad news, because as my father always used to tell me, I have lots of willpower, but I have no won't power.
It's true. It's very true. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. It can be a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. So I got there, and he had these 2 ponies in harness, beautiful black carriage that was made by the Amish, as are their harnesses. And he had them whipping around the field like you couldn't believe. And I mean, look at these 2 guys. I mean, are they the cutest things
They're the cutest things
seen?
ever, and they're not related.
They're not related, but they are both half Shetland pony and half Haflinger horse. And a Haflinger horse is the smallest draft horse. And that makes a difference in terms of their body structure. They're stout. They are solid little ponies. These ponies can carry an adult weight without any problem whatsoever, because they've got big bones.
I've been on it. When they were acting up with the kids, I jump on.
Yeah, exactly. So they're even though they're part Shetland, which of course are Bonnie and Clyde are Shetland, but Shetland could never carry an adult.
No.
These guys are very stout.
And the reason they're ponies, they're half horse, half pony, but they're not what we call them a pony and not a horse, because of their height.
Yeah.
They are not yet horse height.
Yeah.
There's an official height for a horse, and these guys are not up there.
So they came with the names of Sammy and Chester.
No.
And I thought, no. That, we got ourselves a team here. We got to have a team name. So I asked our Days at Dunrovin members.
Oh.
I did. And I had a little contest. And I had all kinds of fun names. But the minute I saw the suggestion of Lewis and Clark, I said, bingo.
Bingo, especially Lolo.
Bingo.
Being in Lolo, Montana.
Yes. When we first moved here, my husband and I found a plaque on this property that said it was the location of Travelers Rest. And indeed, this place was mistakenly identified as Travelers Rest, which is the most famous camp in the Lewis and Clark expedition, because they used it twice. Yes. Both coming and going. So and that's Lewis and Clark are special to us.
Yeah, and that's where Lewis and Clark split up on their way back to east, isn't that right?
On the way back. Yep.
Some people asked me on the trail what those 2 rocks are, and I said, that's where Lewis and Clark had their last campfire. I tell them I'm kidding. Yeah. What they always ask.
Yeah, but it is right up Highway 12. That's where they crossed over into Idaho. And so it was the perfect name. And the whole idea of Lewis and Clark is that they were co-captains. I mean, it was Captain Clark that went out of his way to make Lewis a captain.
That's right.
For the expedition.
It's a great
because
story.
He wanted an equal partner.
Yes, it's a great story.
That just seemed to signify a team for me. So, of course, the first thing we had to do was learn how to drive them. And when I called my vet to inquire about him coming out and checking them out physically, there was a big silence on the telephone when I said, Dick, I'm going to be buying a pair of ponies to pull a cart. And long silence. And he said, Suzanne, well, whenever anybody calls and asks about buying a team, I tell them they need 3 things: liability insurance, health insurance, and medical insurance.
And life insurance.
Life insurance. Life insurance, liability, and medical.
Therefore, Suzanne has volunteered me to learn to drive this season.
That's right. The long-suffering ranch manager.
Can you believe it?
That's
I'm excited about it. I really am. When I was 8, I had a Shetland pony, and my parents bought me a tiny cart.
Yeah.
I have no memories of it. I must have been knocked out, but I don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun.
I bet it is.
It's fun. And once my vet actually met them, he said, this is a good buy. These guys are good guys.
And they don't have, ponies have a reputation for being obstinate and unruly, and, they really don't. For ponies, they're worth their weight in gold.
They're
are. Tremendous.
But I will say they didn't come that way.
Oh.
Okay? The first thing the woman told me, when I took them home, she said, don't let them near dogs, they'll kill dogs. And I said, well, that won't last long. I said, we got a lot of dogs at Dunrovin. And indeed, the first 3 weeks they spent chasing every dog that came by, but that got tired. You know, they got tired of it over
no
time.
Payoff.
No payoff. You know, and the dogs didn't go away, so they sort of settled into that. Now
I didn't know
now
that.
you see that they don't care.
Oh, they
at
don't
all.
care at all.
Not at all.
Inu goes in and eats their manure every morning, and they don't care yet.
Oh yeah, they don't care one little bit. And you know, that's generally the way with horses. You know, once they get accustomed to any environment, they're cool with it.
Once
you know?
they're not threatened.
Yeah,
being
they know-
prey,
That's right.
Yeah.
These dogs don't bother them, and they don't bother the dogs back.
Not at all.
No point in it.
No point in it. Exactly.
That's wasted energy, and
Yes.
they don't like to waste energy.
No one does.
So first thing I did was get my friend out here, Con Ovnik. A lot of you remember Con. He used to give lessons here. He's a real character, and he taught me how to drive. Wayne also helped teach me how to drive, and I drove the ponies for quite a while, and I've learned a few things that you will soon learn.
Please.
Yeah.
Soon. I want to learn soon being the
Soon.
operative word, please.
Soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, yeah. I hope that our guy up from Plains will come and
Me
teach
too.
you, because he's a good teacher.
Okay.
Yeah. But the issue is that it's very strange with these two. The most energetic one under saddle is Clark.
Yes.
He'll move on out. You know, he's kind of alert, and when we first put him under saddle, he was a little skittish, in fact. So we had to work with him a little bit to calm him down. And Lewis is Mr. You know, plod along.
Plod along.
Plod along. But under harness, it's the complete opposite.
Interesting.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it's very interesting.
I mean, Lewis will be the only one pulling, and all the
How
guys.
smart is that?
Yeah. So Clark just said, you know, stands up, you know, a half a inch behind, but you know, in harness, that half inch makes all the difference.
That's very clever.
Very clever. So you have to have your little whip.
Okay.
And you have to tickle Clark's bottom.
I'll tickle him.
You tickle his bottom to keep him in the harness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Moving along. Right.
Okay, that's good. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so you came. I pulled the harness out of the back room.
Yes,
We didn't use them at all last year, and
Yeah.
it's heavy for one.
Yeah.
There are a lot of parts.
I'm just going to let him stand by
let's do that.
himself. Yeah. These guys will just stand here. They got some hay. Wherever there's hay, these two are going to be. That's for sure.
Yes, I pulled the harness out, and although I've never used one, I do know what a horse looks like. So I put it up there,
In the order.
guessing that
Right.
that's how it goes.
Right. That's right.
So what do you think?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you have to fit one to each horse.
Right. Like saddles.
Like saddles, you got to fit them. And so we color coded the two horses, and I always remember it's BC. Blue is Clark, BC.
BC, Blue Clark.
Blue Clark.
So this is Clark's harness.
So then it's green for
The other one.
Lewis. I mean for
GC.
Yeah. And so this is blue, so this would be Mr. Clark's. Okay. Right. So there's actually there's quite a bit more to a harness situation than there is to a saddle. A lot more straps.
And even more than a pack saddle, which is a similar idea a little bit.
A lot of similarity, particularly in the rear end part. Here you've got the bridle here.
Right.
Okay, and the reins.
Right.
But the back end of a harness situation is exactly the same as a pack. It's called
saddle?
It's called a britchen.
Britchen.
A britchen, and it goes under their tail.
Right.
And
So they're
behind.
pulling right here.
Right,
So
right there.
Okay.
But the real pull comes from their shoulders, and that's where this harness comes into it. And
Something like this.
On the harness, you attach what are called the hands, H-A-N-Z.
Oh.
That's this part, the metal part, okay?
Okay.
And that actually goes to the shaft
Of the cart.
of the cart.
Gotcha.
Okay, so when the
Gotcha.
when the horse pulls, this gets engaged. The whole harness gets engaged.
Understood. Okay, I'm excited.
Yeah, and so all this does is keep everything straight, you know, and so that, I mean, he's not pulling with anything behind. Nothing behind pulls. It's all in their
It's all in the front end.
All front end. And then the other thing that you have to become accustomed to is that with your reins, you're actually controlling two different horses. So
it's still two reins.
Two reins, and what happens?
Not 4 reins, 2 reins and 2 horses.
But 4 places on the bits.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So the right rein goes to what's called the outside of the right horse. That would be on his right, his left or right.
Right.
Side.
Correct. I mean.
Okay. And then the draft side of the horse is the inside to the next horse. So on the horse on the outside. Okay, and draft is on the inside. And if you had a 3-horse team, the middle horse would have only drafts. He wouldn't have an outside.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how you talk about these things.
Okay.
The outside and the draft side. Okay.
Okay.
And then it would be right draft or left draft if you had 4 horses or 3 horses and only 2 have outsides.
Understood.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the rein, then your right rein, goes to the right side. Actually, the horse's left side, your right side, mouth. And then there is another rein that comes through a D-ring, which is right up here. I think I saw it here. Didn't we have a rein here?
Yes.
Yeah. There's here you go. It's strapped. You have a strap.
That goes to 2 different places.
It goes to the draft side of the left horse.
Is someone taking notes for me?
Yeah. So your right rein actually pulls on the right side on both horses.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Sure. That makes sense.
And then to make sure that they don't get messed up, you have what's called a D-ring that keeps those from getting out of line.
Sure.
So you've got a rein attached to a rein. So it would be like, let me just show here. If you've got this rein going to the front horse, you've got a rein half the way down that goes to the other horse.
Like a splitter,
like a splitter.
Okay.
Like a splitter.
Now let me ask you something. Do I hold the reins like I'm riding a horse, or I hold them like this?
You hold them coming in.
Okay.
Yeah. When you ride a horse, you'll have them coming out the bottom. You'll have them coming in the bottom and out the top, out towards the top.
That's a good broadcast we can have pretty soon.
What's that?
That's a good broadcast we can have pretty soon.
Yeah.
Literally how you do that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's just the opposite.
Okay.
Okay, you come in at your thumb and it goes out.
This is how I tell the students not to ride, right? But that's when you drive, it's
exactly.
this.
Driving is exactly the opposite.
Okay.
Okay. And it has to do with the angle to the horse's mouth relative to your hand. Okay? Because now you're behind, way behind. And if you held it this way, when you pull, you're pulling up instead of pulling down.
That makes total sense. I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay. And the interesting thing is when you first get behind them, it takes some feel, just like you when you're riding a horse in saddle, you learn to feel when the horses are in the bit.
Sure.
And you learn to feel when Clark is being lazy.
Oh, I bet you can. So you just give him a little suggestion.
You have your whip.
You suggest he move up a little bit.
You just suggest, keep him up there. And then you generally use some voice commands too when you're turning. Just like, it's either come or get, get, come. And it doesn't really matter what it is as long as you have something that's uniform.
And I imagine they need a little tune-up for that kind of thing.
Oh, they will.
Can we drive from the ground before we put the
we
cart
will
on them?
absolutely do that.
Oh, great.
Well, in fact, what we should do is harrow the fields get the harrow. It is perfect. I used to do harrow with them.
Well, we can drag some manure on top.
And also we have that arena
drag. We can drag the arena with that.
Drag the arena with them. That's the best thing to do.
I will love watching you do that.
Oh, she's getting smart, isn't she? The long-suffering ranch.
Well, now I'm on to you now. No, I'm teasing.
I
No,
know.
that'd be a fun thing to broadcast.
Yeah, no, it
Actually,
is
really,
fun.
I can do this.
It
I
is
can do
fun,
this.
yeah. And that's where you do want to start, is in a place where they're confined.
Yeah.
So that, I mean,
Things can happen.
well, what's interesting is they are different horses with the cart.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys, they at one time spent a lot of time with that cart.
Mm-hmm.
They really move out. Those horses can move out. And so unless you know what you're doing, you really don't want to get yourself out and about until you feel that, because you want to be able to feel when they're starting to, get a little too motivated.
And like when you're riding, you
Right.
want the animal to trust you.
Right.
Same thing.
Exactly the same thing. And you want to be able to read when their emotions are starting. You're way behind them. You're not seeing them in the same way.
Right.
And they've got what are called blinkers on.
Yes.
And those are by their eyes. And let's just.
Is there blinders on that one? Yeah.
Yeah, we got blinkers.
So horses can see this far if they look forward.
Yeah.
They can see all the way back here.
Yeah.
So you want them to only look forward, so you cover their peripheral vision.
Right.
And
And
there's
these are
no
called-
distraction or anything to be afraid of.
Yeah, this is they're called blinkers. So the point is that the rider loses, the person who's driving loses some of the kind of contact. You're not feeling your horse. You're only
You see what I'm saying? I ride here.
Yes.
Yes, interesting.
So you feel only with your hands.
Oh, boy.
Because you can't see what your horse is doing. You can see their ears.
Right.
And that's always helpful.
Very helpful.
And their tails will
Yes.
that kind of thing. But you lose some of the normal ways
Well,
of
that's
communicating.
interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to feel them.
Nope, you don't.
Interesting.
Yeah, your hands. So you have to kind of and your hands are more active than when you're riding.
Okay.
Okay, and that's the other thing. Good riders have very, very quiet hands.
Yeah, your hands shouldn't move much.
Very quiet hands. And
You shouldn't notice the hands moving at all.
Well, get on and watch some videos of people driving.
Well, you know what I did? I didn't post it for the broadcast, but I did pull a video of a competitive four-in-hand.
Oh, boy.
And horses going through water obstacles.
Oh.
If you don't mind, I'll put it on the discussion.
Absolutely. And I mean, those things can turn on a dime.
Oh, on
They're
a dime.
Incredible.
I was astounded.
They're incredible. Yeah. If we get going on this, we should invite some of the teams around and go over to the school.
that'd be fun.
And have a little obstacle course with the. I mean.
That'd be fun.
Oh, be way fun. Yeah.
I bet there's a lot of local teams. I bet there's a lot of mule
Wayne
teams.
and Wayne and Willie and Waylon. The three W's.
The three W's.
Yeah, they were terrific, and they could really.
That'd be exciting.
That'd be fun,
That'd
wouldn't
be
it?
way exciting.
Yeah, we
So a question about the cart.
Oh, the cart.
Now, there are a couple things. Is there an emergency brake? Is there like isn't there something that shuts the tires or something?
Well, yes, we have to have an emergency brake for our insurance. But let me tell you something. Emergency brakes on carts don't work.
I know they don't.
They don't really work.
You can't. No. And
I mean,
is there a seatbelt?
No.
Okay, just asking.
No
Okay.
seatbelts. And I did get the emergency brake on so my insurance would cover it.
Gotcha.
But virtually every Teamster I ever talked to said, well, that's nice, it looks good, but
It's not going to work.
but it doesn't work.
I imagine it would flip. Something bad could actually
Well, see,
happen.
that's the issue here.
You dig something down, you stop those tires, the ponies are going to...
Well, they'll move. They'll move, so
It doesn't stop them, it stops the cart, right?
That's right.
Now,
That's right.
would we wear a helmet also when we do this?
Well, I never wore a helmet, but that's a decent question. We should think about that. Let's cogitate on that a little bit.
I have a lot of
It's a problem to get everybody to wear helmets that's riding, and we've had up to 6 kids in the cart at one time.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's a decent question. I want to think about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Because and I think once you get really used to it, and once you're confident and know what's happening, what they're doing, it's a pretty safe operation.
Okay.
And let me tell you, these guys are good. They're good.
And it's a four-wheeled... Well, we'll pull it out when there's no
It's
snow.
four-wheeled.
It's a
Four wheels.
Okay.
It's got 4 big wheels, and it's black, and it's got a red front, and
Oh,
it's
gorgeous.
It's really beautiful.
So part of my getting the tack ready for the season is I'll go ahead and clean all the harnesses and
Right.
get those nice and oiled up. And
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. No, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
So I think we've put up a couple shots. Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be fun. I used to say, when I take people out and I take them into really bad spots with the horses. I said, "Oh, you're going to love this." So all my Giddy Up girls say when they write to me, they say, "Oh, you're going to love this, Susan."
I always say,
I'm going to get scared when you say, "Oh, you're going to love it."
Oh, great. What I tell my guests is, I bring back 80% of the people I take out, so your odds are very good. And then they laugh, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's it then. So you've met the captains. You know how to identify them.
Yeah.
The cart. They've seen a diagram. They've had a lot of visual aids on the chat as we've been talking.
Yeah.
So are you ready to help me out, people, with this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So as soon as we have decent ground.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, this is a spring. We've never had a spring like this before. I will tell you that you're going to have a lot of fun with this river cam in the next 6 weeks.
Oh, I bet you.
Yeah, we're going to, this could be one of the 100-year flood kind of a deals, where it goes water all the way across to the other to the mountain.
So most of it, we're going to be heading out. Our trail rides then are going to all be hauling out.
Yeah, we won't be able to cross the river for a long time,
and even
once it gets going.
And we have a 1-hour ride that's right there next to the river, and that's probably going to be.
Yeah.
But you're going to see a lot of neat stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's
and with any luck at all, Harriet and Hal will be fishing.
Yeah, very soon.
So, all right.
Yeah.
So today is Thursday. I thought yesterday was Thursday, but it was not.
She had me convinced it was.
She showed up. Anyway, so we'll see you. Well, I'll see you. Kate and I will see you on Sunday with Diva Training. I'm going to actually hook up the trailer and probably back it into the arena a little bit. And that's probably a good idea, a good place. Because then I can shut the gate, and we don't want any divas dispersed around the neighborhood. So we'll maybe do a little of that.
It's going to be fun seeing the divas get into the arena. They're going to be like,
I'll take them out.
Yeah.
And out and around.
Yeah.
So that's it. So that's all for today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah. If there's no questions, little James is in my ear. If there's no questions, then I will just see you on Sunday.
Bye.
Everyone's ready to see me get trained. So, this all started out to be animal training, but you know what it really is? It's Kelly training. You know what?
Training, yeah.
Which is great.
She comes from a dressage racetrack background. We got things to teach her.
My hats prove that I have adapted.
It's true.
It is true.
She adapted right away.
I've had a cowgirl fantasy my whole life. I've always wanted to be a cowgirl. And look what.
Well, Montana Badass.
There you go, Montana Badass. Anyway, thanks very much. Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you.
We'll see you all later.
Bye.
Bye.